Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is a VR2 Eveline Timeless, and it's Arwen Lynch's tarot train tag, and Eveline's tag is Tarot Highlights for 2017. And you know, it's this time of the year, isn't it, that we slowly closing 2017 and transiting into 2018. And 2017 for me personally was a year full of tarot highlights, because if I could summarize this year, it was a year that definitely was very strongly interwoven with tarot and all that tarot brings with itself. I have like a little note, like a little list of highlights that this year kind of brought to me. First of all, I wanted to share the decks that kind of highlighted that year, because I think that's always interesting, and obviously I use most of my decks that I have. Like, I would use them all. So what I'm going to show you, it's like a summary of the decks that I used the most, or that impacted me, and the clients' readings that I did the most. I'm not going to show any oracles this time because it's tarot highlights, so let's stay with tarot. Let's start with Tarot de Marseille decks, because I've got quite a few of the major arcana only decks that I really appreciate and use a lot in my practice. And these are decks that really highlighted and kind of brought tears of joy into my eyes. And I use those major arcana only decks for where's the full heading readings, and also often I start a reading for a client with just setting up the tone and using the major arcana only deck. So this amazing hand-painted deck is from Jo from 282 Tarot on Instagram. You can find her. She's very quiet now, but she's done a few of those decks as kind of trials, and she sent it to us to see how it is, you know, how her decks work. And I'm hoping that she's going to do the whole deck. So this is all hand painted watercolor deck, and that was definitely a highlight to receive one of those handmade beauties from Jo. So I'm still very grateful. Thank you, Jo. So this is major arcana deck. This is Tarot de Blaine, which also comes from French eBay. It still can be purchased. This one has all different rainbow colors, and it's connected to personalities and like, you know, sanguinic, phlegmatic, what is it, like those temperament types. And the colors are connected to that and to different emotions. But I just, you know, read it, use it as a normal Tarot de Marseille. These two decks are made by Piotr, and especially this one, which I received from him as a gift for my birthday last year. I really use it a lot, and if you had a reading with me, you probably you've seen one or two of those decks. So this is gorgeous. Reminds me a little bit of Aboriginal art with that dark background. It's beautiful. You can still purchase this from him as well. And then he also made me that little Vanderboer majors, which is gorgeous. I love this hermit. And I received from a beautiful client also that gorgeous Tarot de Timeless deck, and yeah, keep using it a lot also in those readings. So for the readings that I do, I need two of those major only decks. So I'm glad I kind of gathered quite a few amazing Tarot de Marseille decks. Maybe let's take it away. So 2016 was totally my Tarot de Marseille deck, kind of discovery and a love year. In 2017, I actually discovered that I came back to Rider-Waite-Smith, which was never my favorite system, but closing the Tarot de Marseille adventure, I have to mention this deck because I was really surprised that I loved it so much. The more you shuffle it, the kind of more like softer it gets. You have to shuffle it overhand, and that's Da Corte dei Tarocchi from Il Meneglo, and this deck is just so stunning. I love the colors and the feel of the paper. It's just a tactile adventure playing with this deck. So I have been using it quite a lot, but as I said, that Marseille kind of love that I developed in 2016 tempered a little bit, and there's another one. Sorry, I'm just, whenever I want to stop talking about Marseille decks, there's one more popping up. I use this one a lot. I love the colors. If you're into, you know, a little bit more colorful version of Tarot de Marseille, I would go for Tarot Classic or the Spanish Tarot, because then the colors are a little bit more vibrant and it's still very classical, very pure, clean deck. I also used a lot Jean Noble and Jean Dodel and that Tarot Droga by Marzena, because she's a Polish lady, Polish artist, and she created this amazing deck. I actually edged it black, so when you receive the deck it's not edged, but she created this Tarot Droga, and it's Marseille, it's a pip deck, so it's Marseille based, even though how she put the pips on the cards is a little bit different to traditional Marseille, but it's a pip deck. And look what I received. What I received from her recently, the original of the Queen of Cups plate, because this deck was made from those ceramic plates and then it was transferred onto paper. So because I kind of keep showing her deck around, she was lovely enough and kind enough to just you know, show me, like gift me this plate. So this deck of hers, she only has a few of those left. There were only, I think, 100 published or something like that. So she is actually selling them right now. It's not maybe so easy to buy, but you can still buy them. If you go on Polish eBay, you can see that there's usually an auction going on. And it's called Tarot Droga because all the major arcanas are connected with that path. And there is a video of mine when I'm showing this deck. I'm linking it below and you can check it in the description box. And you can see how that deck looks when you put all the major arcana on the ground and how they connect with this path. It's quite a fascinating idea. And this deck is just gorgeous. It's very shamanic in use, very earthy. Love the backs, kind of, you know, that early style. It's a bit, you know, fire is fire, you can sense it, earth is earthy, so it's quite a beautiful deck. So that was Tarot Droga. And what kind of prompted me to go into Rider-Waite-Smith system is other decks of Carol Herzer, because she creates those amazing Rider-Waite-Smith kind of clones, which she paints herself. So she repainted the whole deck, and this is Elemental Rainbows. She's got a few different types of Rider-Waite-Smith, which vary by colors. Like Starlight Illuminated, it's a bit darker. There is Original Illuminated Tarot, which I also have, which is just Original Illuminated is, you got the names, and it's the regular Rider-Waite-Smith. Some of the names are changed, and it's just these gorgeous colors. and she also has glitter versions, so check out Carol Herzer. I also link her below, you can check her work. So her decks made me like kind of fall in love with Rider-Waite-Smith again, because with her decks I can also do quite a lot of energy work, and this was one of the highlights of my 2017, which I will share with you in a sec. And this Elemental Rainbows doesn't have any names, and when you know Rider-Waite-Smith system well, you know, you don't need names. So, and I love that there's no numbers, no nothing, just this amazing colors, and it's color coded, as you can see. So her decks are incredible. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but if you love color, this is the Chakra Arcana Tarot, and this is 7 chakra cards. This can be also purchased from her page, and she did something amazing, that she connected chakras to Rider-Waite-Smith majors. And so there's a magician, and it's connected to the root and to the sacral chakra, and so on and so forth. There's death, and I'm actually like trying this system out for my clients and for myself, just checking different things, and I love it. It's a very cool system, and if you love tarot, it's another way to play with energy and tarot like that. So Rider-Waite-Smith surprised me and kind of opened itself up to me, also through this beautiful gift which I got from Lisa from Mindful Tarot. So some of the vintage decks that appeared, which are very Rider-Waite-Smith, but just have different vibe, you know. This is like the 70s vibe, and with this very Art Nouveau style. So yeah, they're just gorgeous. Or the Intuitive Tarot that I scored from Tracy from a swap. So it's beautiful decks, and yeah, Rider-Waite-Smith came strongly and hit me on the head. Another decks that I really used quite a lot in clients' readings, and I thought that they did excellent jobs, was especially, I have to, this is like one of those that I really love to use for clients, and that clients love as well, and that works really well. It's Tarot de Sainte Croix by Lisa de Sainte Croix. A really beautiful deck, and it is Rider-Waite-Smith based, but the descriptions in the little booklet that comes with it, and just how she twisted the archetypes and added some of her personal kind of twist to them. It's so beautiful, but it's such a healing deck. It works really well for so many people. It gives intuitive hits. You can really connect it on many levels. So it's quite a spiritual deck. It can be quite a practical deck. It can be just a regular, ordinary deck. So it's very, very beautiful. And I'm loved, and really it was a highlight for my readings. It kind of opened up many different avenues that I can do the readings from. And Sasuraibita Tarot, it also surprised me. I swapped with Stasia for a wand, one of my wands, and she sent me her deck, and it also surprised me because I'm not such a big fan of anima or, you know, the Japanese art, but this deck, people respond to this deck so lovely. They connect to the images, they know kind of what they mean. It's quite easy to read with this deck, and it's just one of those decks that's very a great reader, very kind of all-rounder, beautiful deck. So it was one of those highlights too. And what else do I have? I did play quite a lot with the Wildwood Tarot, and it also became highlight in the way that it's perfect deck to take out to nature. I had some wonderful examples on my IG account, how I pulled a card for a spirit of the plant, or, you know, all sorts of different animal and plant connections, which I researched with that deck. and it's a wonderful deck to take into nature because it's still quite, you know, it's not a very expensive deck. Even if something goes wrong, you can still buy it, and it's just amazing deck for natural wheel, natural cycles. Kelly from Truth and Story, she did in November, I think, that tag and challenge on IG, where she was just using this deck. So yeah, very beautiful deck. Another deck that never really left my side was this Tarot Transformation, and if you watch my channel, you know how much I love this deck, and I always use it. It's my hug deck. It's a deck that gives me some always deeper perspective, always detached perspective, always spiritual approach, makes me appreciate things, make me understand things from another perspective. So that Tarot of Transformation, it's really a cool deck too. And I wanted to study more of the Thoth system, and that Tabula Mundi Colores Arcus and Liberty book was a great way to introduce myself into the Thoth system. And this is a stunning deck. I actually maybe I haven't shown it a lot, but I did use it a lot in 2017, and I did learn much more about this Thoth system that I knew. So it's a slow progress, because then a lot of color and chakras and essential oils popped in, and also a lot of Marseille type decks, you know, stole my heart. But Thoth system, it's still one that I want to explore, because I love tarot all around. I love all the systems of tarot. And yeah, Rider-Waite-Smith came in very strongly this year, so I was surprised. But I did learn a little bit more about Kabbalah. I did learn a little bit more about Tree of Life. And I love that the Thoth decks have astrology attached to it, because astrology is one of my loves of my life. And then Asherah Tarot, which I got not a long time ago, and I'm still yet to befriend it fully, but I love the artwork. Actually, everything about this deck. It's from Game Crafters, but the paper is not too bad. It's quite thin, but it feels good. It's this linen thing, and I have to tell you that just the artwork is stunning. And it makes me want to learn, you know, it just makes me want to pull it out and study and check all of it and see. It's, as you can see, it also has the astrological association here, like with the moon in Sagittarius and stuff like that. So this deck is just incredible. The artwork is so amazing. Look at that hermit. So Asherah Tarot, which is just spell like that. You want to go and check it out if you're interested in esoteric tarot like that. So these decks, I'd say, there's one more maybe which I want to mention, because that was a big surprise for me, and this is Chrysalis Tarot. I didn't, you know, I've seen this deck for years, and I never had any impulse to get it. And then I went to Thailand and I saw it in Kinokuniya and looked at it, and I thought, shit, there's just something about this deck that I really like, and the booklet was very cool. So I did get this deck, and it's one of the most magical decks that I own, and also with some amazing, like this Hermit, or there's a Kali for Tower. I did trim this deck, but if I was to do it again, I probably wouldn't. I mean, it looks lovely, I like it, but I actually loved that the borders. It actually kept the image nicely in check, you know, inside. But yeah, it looks lovely trimmed too, so I have no problem with that. But it's a gorgeous deck, and it gives also quite beautiful, magical, different types of readings. So if you love that type of colorful artwork, you can check it out as well. Okay, and then what else was my highlight this year, so I have to say that I opened my Etsy shop, and that was a huge highlight for me. It was one of those stunning moments in time, you know. It was new moon in Leo, and I remember just opening that shop thinking like, this is a good time, I will do it. And my shop, it's called Tarot Map, and I was already giving readings to people through my blog, through, you know, telephone and in person in Poland, but Etsy shop really opened me up for international customers, and also this YouTube channel, which also kind of blossomed in 2017. So I want to thank you all for that. And in my shop, there's a reading which is connected to Chiron, because I noticed also 2017 brought an amazing merging of styles for me. So I'm always a creative astrologer and tarot reader. I mix things. I love to mix oracle cards, you know, chakra cards, tarot, oracles, vibrational medicine, crystal skulls and stuff like that. And yeah, crystal skulls were definitely a highlight this year as well. And in my shop, this Chiron reading, I think this is going to be one of my highlights for sure, because I'm still developing it. I'm connecting it to vibrational and energy healing, and I noticed that a lot of people who bought this reading really resonated with it. And it can be seen as a reading that explores your wounding, but also your limits and blockages that in turn, when you integrate that Chiron, turn you into empowered, amazingly satisfying being. And Chiron is a wounded healer, so as the name even suggests, when you heal, you can go off and support other people in their own personal healing, and that wound becomes your gift and your talent. So this reading I love, and I want to develop it further. For now, it's still, as I started reading, it's still there in my shop. It might change in the nearest future, but for now, if you want to check it out, just take a look and see if there's something you're interested in. And I think this developing and narrowing how I read and connecting astrology and tarot and oracle cards and vibrational tools, my wands, crystals, into my personal reading style. I'm really grateful for that to 2017. I'm grateful to all of you. Definitely YouTube and IG community is a highlight. The group for love of cards and all the tarot friends that I made throughout this year. It's definitely one of the biggest highlights that YouTube, recording videos and stuff like this gave me. So thank you to all of you. And we're moving towards a very full-on few years, especially 2020 will be quite a powerful year. So for the next 2 years, I think we're seeding and working on really holding the vision, manifesting what we truly want, connecting to our presence, being present to who we are, and developing, you know, solid ground for holding that vision, because it might get crazy. And also, you know, times are changing. We're going from earth to air, and there's no point in fighting or raging against something. Things are changing by themselves, so let's just stay tuned in. Let's connect to our hearts, because the heart chakra, whenever we stay in our hearts, we're always on the right path. So let's make 2018 a year when we, you know, true to ourselves, we're true to our vision, and that's what we manifest in our lives. That's funny, I didn't pull these cards on purpose, but there you go. Heart chakra, third eye chakra, and the base chakra. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inspiring me with your comments, with your wonderful support. And I will definitely see you in the new year, and probably a few times before that. So much love to you, and I speak to you soon. And thanks, Eveline, for creating that tag. It's lovely. Bye.